Turning to the impact of Brexit on Scotland's rural economy specifically, and my amendment calling for the UK Government to grant powers to the Scottish Government to set its own priorities for immigration to support the rural economy, I lodged this amendment driven by a wealth of evidence that indicates that our rural labour market desperately needs inward migration. The Scottish Government's action plan to address depopulation noted that 14 rural council areas are projected to decline in population over the next decade. And a Spice brief... Yes?
Cabinet Secretary Angus Robinson.
I commend Ariane Burgess for bringing up the advantages of differentiated immigration systems. Would she acknowledge that this works perfectly well in both Canada and Australia? And if it's possible to have differentiated immigration systems in countries like that, why would it not be possible to do that in the UK? And why would it not be a sensible suggestion that the new UK government should look at?
Ariane Burgess.
If this kind of differentiation works in other countries, I absolutely agree. We could do it in Scotland and the United Kingdom. We have that level of intelligence. We can figure it out. A Spice briefing issued at the same time stated that stakeholders and communities across Scotland have repeatedly highlighted that the current UK immigration system, particularly following the end of freedom of movement, does not meet the needs of rural and island communities. Scotland's population strategy, published in 2021, notes Scotland's seasonal industries are particularly reliant on migration. Those industries are particularly significant in rural and remote areas where populations tend to be older and population growth lower. While 8.3% of Scotland's overall employment was made up of non-UK workers in 2019, this rose to 16% in food and drink and 15% in tourism. And by way of some specific examples in the farming sector, under freedom of movement, agricultural workers could easily get to the EU from Europe to work on Scottish farms as needed. And since Brexit, the UK government has operated, as we've been discussing, a seasonal agricultural workers scheme, which grants short-term visas to migrant crop pickers. For the 2025 harvest season, 43,000 UK visas have been granted, 2,000 fewer than in 2024. The UK growing industry has repeatedly called for around 60,000 visas per year. According to reporting by Scottish Farmer, approximately £60 million worth of crops were lost in 2022 due to a lack of labour. And there are also concerns that SAWS is also opening migrants up to exploitation.